Tom Hanks now says that if Philadelphia were made today, he wouldn't do it because the character was gay and he's not. Well, besides the fact that this would force all gay actors to reveal their sexuality, even if they didn't want to, great actors, which Tom is one, try hard to keep their private lives private so we don't think of their real lives when we see them in a movie that attempts to transport us into a different world. Could you really look at this actress now and not think of the trial? Should she only play bedshitters now?
Tom Hanks recently sparked a huge online conversation with a single comment that caught many people off guard. He explained that if Philadelphia were made today, he likely wouldn't take the role, not because he couldn't perform it, but because he isn't gay. That statement says a lot about how much the entertainment landscape has shifted. This is the same actor who earned an Academy Award for portraying a gay man living with AIDS, a performance widely praised for its sensitivity, humanity, and emotional depth. At the time, it was seen as a powerful example of storytelling done right. Now, Hanks suggests that kind of casting decision might not even be possible today. Not due to lack of respect, but because the expectations around who is allowed to play certain roles have changed. And while people may debate his conclusion, he's pointing to a real shift. Something important has been lost, not progress, but balance and perspective.
Directors have to stop listening to the casting police and go back to doing their job, which is picking the best actor for the role. Now, I mention this because a lot of people lately are either apologizing for or calling on others to apologize for playing roles they call appropriation. James Franco was just chosen to play Fidel Castro, and John Leguizamo posted, "No more appropriation. Boycott. This is fucked up. I don't got a problem with Franco, but he ain't Latino." Okay, but John Leguizamo is Colombian American. He ain't a Venetian, but he played one. He ain't a French little person or an Italian plumber, but he played them too, because he's... because he's an actor.
Before going any further, if you're someone who feels Hollywood has started prioritizing identity labels over talent, you probably recognize the concern already. Acting was once centered on skill first, with everything else coming later. That order seems to be reversing. The idea gaining traction now is that only people who share a character's identity should portray that character on screen. Taken at face value, it may sound respectful, but pushed to its logical extreme, it creates serious problems. It would require actors to disclose deeply personal details just to be considered for work. Privacy fades, pressure increases, and performance takes a back seat to personal classification. Acting becomes less about transformation and more about documentation. Tom Hanks built his career on the ability to disappear into roles, making audiences forget the actor and believe the character. That illusion is the foundation of acting, and today, it's being boxed in by rigid expectations.
Sounds like an unforgivable sin until you remember that's what acting is. That's why acting jobs are called roles. Sean Penn won an Oscar for playing gay civil rights martyr Harvey Milk. At the time, it was considered a courageous act of solidarity for a straight male movie star to play a homosexual. Now it's the opposite. Eddie Redmayne played a transgender woman in The Danish Girl, but now calls that a mistake because many people don't have a chair at the table. Well, actually, in movies now, they do. And what does it have to do with you playing trans? Does it then work the other way? Can trans actors only play trans characters? Because that's not going to be a good deal for them. Why don't we just go by merit and let the best actor win? Which seems like what happened when Ana de Armas just got picked to play Marilyn Monroe, even though she's Cuban with an accent. Hey, maybe she should play Fidel Castro and... and James Franco can play Marilyn Monroe, and then we can all... then we can all stay in our lanes. Is that what diversity and inclusion look like now? Everybody's staying in their...
This growing tension has led many critics to argue that creativity is being limited by fear-driven rules, and Bill Maher has been one of the most outspoken voices on the issue. In recent commentary, he's directly challenged Hollywood's fixation on what's often called authentic casting. His point isn't about disrespect, but about the unintended consequences of replacing artistic judgment with ideological checklists. Maher argues that performers are now treated as if doing their jobs requires apologies. Acting, something people dedicate their lives to mastering, is suddenly framed as something risky or inappropriate. Instead of being valued as a craft, it's viewed through a political lens, and that shift has changed how stories get told.
Lawrence of Arabia was gay. Peter O'Toole wasn't. I can live with that. Because he was so cool, he almost made me gay. Emma Stone caught hell for playing a Hawaiian, Jake Gyllenhaal for playing a Persian, Gal Gadot for wanting to play Cleopatra, Johnny Depp for playing an Indian, even though he's not an actual Comanche, and spoiler alert, he also doesn't really have scissor hands. And he's not actually a drunken pirate. Okay, bad example. Isn't the best acting always about making us feel our common humanity beyond separate identities? A black George Washington in Hamilton, of course. But Ryan Gosling as Frederick Douglass? Yes, that would be problematic.
Maher took particular aim at what he jokingly refers to as the casting police. The idea that every role must be filled by someone whose real-life identity exactly matches the character's background. Under that logic, portraying someone different from yourself becomes suspect, which completely undermines the purpose of acting. He pointed out how certain casting choices now spark backlash, even when similar choices were accepted for decades. Maher highlighted controversies where actors were criticized for portraying characters outside their ethnicity or background, while those same critics overlooked how many performers built careers by playing a wide range of roles. His argument was straightforward. If today's rules had existed in the past, many respected actors might never have had the chance to succeed at all.
What's Daniel Day-Lewis really like? I haven't a clue, which is why he's so great. Because when he plays Lincoln, I only see Lincoln. I don't think, well, there's a British heterosexual. But Hanks says, I don't think people would accept the inauthenticity of a straight guy playing a gay guy because, quote, we're beyond that now. Don't get him started on bosom buddies. I mean, really? Does Forrest Gump get thrown under the bus too because Tom isn't really mentally challenged? And as far as we're beyond that, no. No, that implies progress. This is the opposite. This is regression. And it's...
If performers were limited to roles that perfectly mirrored their personal identities, the industry would lose an enormous amount of talent overnight. Acting has always relied on empathy, imagination, and discipline. At its core, it's about stepping into another person's experience and convincing the audience it's real. That doesn't diminish anyone's lived experience. It honors it by taking the responsibility seriously. Removing that freedom weakens storytelling itself. Stories lose depth when actors are discouraged from exploring perspectives beyond their own, and audiences ultimately lose out on meaningful, challenging narratives.
Is frankly typical of so much wokeness that doesn't build on liberalism. It undoes it. Empathy, putting yourself in someone else's place so you can understand them better, used to be the very heart of liberalism. Now it's considered offensive because don't even try to put yourself in my shoes because you could never know. What a bunch of bullshit that always was. Of course, no one can ever know exactly what another person's struggle is, but we try. Black Like Me was a 1950s book about a white man who darkened his skin and went out into society because he wanted to understand what his black brothers and sisters were up against. Today, all the woke mob would see about that was a guy who did blackface.
The moment the industry insists that actors may only portray characters who match them exactly in real life, it stops protecting creativity and starts limiting it. That approach doesn't expand opportunity, it narrows it. Taken far enough, It leads to an endless chain of restrictions where imagination has no room to operate. Historical roles, fictional characters, and cross-cultural stories all become harder to tell. Maher pointed out that performances once celebrated for transformation and dedication would now be questioned or discouraged. In the past, actors were praised for immersing themselves fully in a role. Today, that same commitment can be reframed as a mistake. The irony is that a system meant to promote inclusion can end up confining performers to very small boxes with no clear way out.
Is sadly a Gentile. And that's the new sin in Hollywood, being a non-Jewish actor portraying a Jew. Because that's always been the problem in Hollywood, not enough Jews. The woke even have a word for this troubling new phenomenon, Jew face. Do you see what I mean about them having their head up there? Really? The word you're using to fight anti-Semitism is Jew face? It sounds like something Mel Gibson says at a track.
Maher closed his critique with humor, using exaggerated examples to highlight how rigid thinking can become. While the jokes landed because they were absurd, the underlying point was serious. When people are told to stay in their lane, creativity turns into caution, and storytelling becomes smaller instead of richer. The bigger issue isn't any single casting decision, it's the inconsistency. Some artistic choices are praised as bold expression, while others are criticized using entirely different standards. That contradiction creates confusion and discourages risk. When acting becomes more about credentials than craft, the illusion that makes storytelling powerful starts to break down. Maher's message, at its core, was simple. Art thrives on empathy and imagination. When fear replaces those values, stories stop challenging us and start playing it safe. The question isn't about denying anyone respect. It's about remembering why acting exists in the first place, to explore, to understand, and to connect. And when talent and commitment are no longer enough, the magic that draws people to movies begins to fade. Thanks for watching this breakdown. I hope you will already subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in a next video.